good to go.
Tell me when. You ready?
We're ready. Yeah.
All right. Okay, calling the meeting to order for the Pryor Creek Rec Center Board meeting, regular meeting Thursday, September the 11th, 2025 at 5:31 p.m. Okay. Any petitions from the audience?
I think we're safe.
Okay. Okay, we're going to discuss possible approval of the minutes of August the 14th, 2025. And you have those in your packet. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion passed. Okay, gonna recognition of volunteers, Marcia Couch and Marcia Jensen for their work implementing and overseeing the recycling program.
So, I think you all have seen the containers outside the pool, and so they came to me. We were trying to just about a year ago, I think, maybe a little more, and pardon me, at least, yeah, and asked me if they could do this, and I said sure. So they've maintained it all year. They collect them and they haul them over to Claremore, I believe is the drop-off site, right? And so, you know, it's a nice thing to have since we don't have that locally. So, you know, they're volunteers, and you know, we have a handful of those that help us out at the rec, but we wanted to recognize them tonight for helping us out and making our place better. So,
Thank you.
Thank
if you
you.
ladies would come up, I got a little something for you. It's gone well.
Yeah.
It's gone well. And I don't know if y'all know Marcia Jensen and Marcia Couch, just so we got two Marcias, and they do spell them differently. So there's yours, Marcia. Just a little certification of appreciation. So you got it, Dave? Why don't you step?
Now, would y'all turn them around? Turn your certificates around?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
This is my favorite thing, is to have
Right.
pictures.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. There you go.
My God.
Yay.
Thank you.
That's why I stood
Thank
up.
you, ladies.
We appreciate it very much. Yeah.
Well, thank you for letting us do it.
Yeah, well,
And like I said, I'm so happy it's so successful.
And you're a great leader.
Oh, well, I got good help.
Football coach.
Yeah,
Right,
there
Mom?
you go.
You want to
That's right. That's right.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. All right.
Next item on the agenda, presentation from Kim Hines regarding the Recreation Center billing system.
So I've asked Kim to just give you a little bit of an overview of kind of, you know, we switched programs a little over a year ago, and so just ask Kim to come up and give you just a brief overview, and then if you have any questions. So Kim?
Hey. Hi guys, we're just going to highlight a couple of things that we really like about the system so far. User-friendly, extremely user-friendly, which is great for us, and for training purposes. Way less time intensive. That's been a really big highlight of it. The other thing is it really transitions well from one thing to the next, so it's very intuitive. There's not a lot of guessing. As you start to go, you kind of are able to pick it up really quickly, go from one thing to the next, which is also great. As far as our reports go, we have been able to pull reports a lot easier. I would say much, much easier, and I would say they are much more accurate at this point. And we're able to look at all of our information from memberships to accounting to just our daily things, which can make it a lot more, a lot easier just for forecasting, which is helpful for us, for our members, for you guys as the board. And then just, it also has some really good safety precautions in place, which make it good for a lot less, we have a lot less stuff with our users as far as, you know, our mess ups in the system, which is great. Also maybe why we want to think about going to more of an auto withdrawal membership in the future, just something to think about. Doesn't have to be done right now, but we could actually be leaving a little money on the table, and by doing that, we could recoup some of that. So far we're really happy with it and the ease of it with the billing system. We're hoping that kind of translates to our members as well.
I do have one question, sorry, my
Yes,
voice is awful. So the security measures,
yes.
okay, can you tell us a little bit about that?
I
as
heard
far as-
you guys had a few questions about that. So when somebody comes in and they start their membership, it sets up a time, the date, is captured within the system, and they pay that money. The system sees that and does not want us to charge them again before their due date. We cannot manipulate the system in any way to do that, which is great for our members because it keeps us from overcharging.
Right.
But it does leave some money on the table, and it is harder for us because people then have to come in right on their due date, or it needs to be an auto withdrawal. So it's done automatically.
So they can't do it early.
They cannot do it early.
So what about safeguarding their data, like their bank information?
It's pretty standard, just like everything else is when we go through our internet companies and all of that stuff. There's
The
all the firewall
firewalls
stuff
and
is in
everything.
place. Yeah.
Okay.
So there's no third party right now.
Okay, perfect.
Yep.
I guess I'm all about the security.
No,
of our data.
absolutely, absolutely.
I'm like, I don't know that I've ever asked you that, like on our system. On our system is everything and have lots of layers of security.
Yeah, and we don't farm it out to a third party. We do have a credit card company, but they are actually a part of the billing system that we use.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
I apologize for my tardiness. What's the fees associated with that?
4% right now.
Yeah.
It's gone up a little bit over the year.
It's gone up, yeah, we were just looking at that in the last week or so.
I do believe last month we discussed that, but if we was to use a bank withdrawal, it would be zero.
Oh, when we started talking about draft,
ACH instead of,
Yeah.
okay.
yeah,
Right, that's what we were talking about, if I remember correctly.
yeah, possibility of just doing it in a bank account versus a card.
Yeah, that's just a personal preference for a lot of people. It's just whether you want to give out all of your banking information and your routing number and everything to an entity, or if you'd rather have it on a card. There's a lot of people that would rather have their information on a card that they give out.
And a lot of people use them for points and rewards and stuff.
Absolutely.
So,
Anything else I can help with?
No, I mean, Micah said it's a lot, it keeps our data very,
that's good.
It is a
a lot better
yes.
than what we did have.
Yes, and I really believe that it is more accurate than what we've had in the past.
Well, at least now, next year, we should be able to have accurate data
Absolutely.
from this year that we can move
And
forward.
I think we actually hit a year in February.
About the middle of February, so.
So now that we can compare and we can have accurate numbers maybe.
Yes. Yep.
I think the membership was always a kind of a moving target, but I think that's settled in now, it seems like.
Thank you, Kim.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hang on, Kim, just real quick. While you're here,
Oh,
while you're here,
hang on a second.
no. So, Kim's been around forever, but she's been full-time for 10 years. And she hit the 10-year mark the other day.
Yay.
So we had this made for her, right?
Nice.
And she's somebody that I rely on quite a lot.
Yep.
And for historical perspective, we've had a lot of
That was a nice way to say you're
conversations
real
about
old.
a lot of things, trying to navigate and improve. And Kim is at the top of the list in helping me do that. So.
Yes.
Right.
Good job.
Everybody loves Kim.
Everybody loves Kim. Thank you, Kim.
Thank you, guys.
I don't know if that makes you like as old as the equipment.
I just saw it before my eyes.
You probably have,
Well, I was
you
gonna-
probably have tenure there, right?
That was already it.
Hey, she started really young.
Yes. Bye.
See you later.
You did a good job
Glad I
on that.
won't see her till Tuesday, 'cause I'm off on Monday, so.
She would not have came if she would have known you were gonna do
You knew
that.
that.
Bart was in on it too, because I told him, I said, if it goes south, I'm throwing you under the bus.
She punches me in front of everybody.
Okay.
That was great.
Uh,
Okay, item 6, discuss possibly recommend council action to surplus the gymnasium bleachers and list them for sale on the Purple Wave auction site.
So, you all know, particularly the pickleballers, know we've got those bleachers in there. They don't work very well. They need, I'd say, $1,500, $2,000 worth of work, but they take up a lot of space, and we really don't use them. You know, they hang, put stuff on them, and the kids put stuff on them, and some of the panels are broken and different things, And so with, plus like Kim and some of the other fitness folks, they feel like they can use that space some too while other things are going on. So anyway, we thought if we cleared those out, and then if we did get to a situation where we needed some seating, we do have a set of bleachers outside with a aluminum kind of roll-in. You tip them up on their back, and then we have some that we use in the pool that we could commandeer if we needed for something. But it would clean it up in there, I think. I don't know when, the last time they've been opened. It's been a long time. It's been, I think, before I was there. And so anyway, just feel like it'd serve us better if we had that space. And this, I don't know if y'all are familiar, Purple Wave is where a lot of municipalities put their stuff to be auctioned. So, and I don't know, finding a school or a place that could use that small of might be difficult. So I think if we can get anything for them, is probably a plus. So anyway, that's what's going on there.
And there are probably about 100 pickleballs behind
Yeah,
those
yeah.
bleachers that we cannot get to.
We
So
need
we're
those.
gonna
Yeah,
really
we're
come
gonna-
out good.
Pickleballer behind it.
Well, that's a possibility.
There's no telling what could be behind there,
Yeah,
though, right?
I'm sure it's not pretty.
Since this is a discussion item, do we need to put this up for any type of movement?
We
I
do,
think-
because we have to make a motion to send it to city
It's a city-
council.
Yeah.
I will make that motion to,
Okay.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, next on the list is director's report.
Okay. So facility, repair, maintenance, that kind of thing. So we had an issue a little over a week ago with the pool heater, and the pump malfunctioned. The motor's fine, but the pump malfunctioned, and so anyway, we got it fixed. We were down for a couple of days or so. The pool was still usable, but the temperature started getting a little chilly, I think, for some. But anyway, we got that going. That was about a $5,100 deal, so that'll be on next month's thing. And it happened over the weekend, of course. And so, that pool's pretty important. So I did make the call to go ahead and try to get somebody out on Sundays when it happened and take a look at it. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to fix it. So anyway, it took a couple more days, but we did get it done. The other thing in that area is the HVAC bid, the saga.
Yeah.
So it got tabled at the last council meeting, and the city's going through this purchasing, trying to put a purchasing manual, procurement, and all that kind of thing, and that's, they're just, in defense of everybody, they're just trying to get it right. And so anyway, I talked to Zach a little bit yesterday, and he's done some talking to Oklahoma City at the state, and that we're finding out that some of the rules that we thought applied to what we were doing in the HVAC really just applied to only construction. And so there is a separation there. And anyway, in some of his conversation, he felt like that we may not have to do a rebid, that it can just go back to council. So I'm not sure if he's going to put it on council agenda for next week or not, because again, the law, the statute, whatever we want to call it, or whatever it is, there's an act of 1974 on purchasing in Oklahoma, and the two-time listing for bids, because that was kind of the thing, right, that we got called on. It wasn't in the paper 2 times. Again, it looks like that only applies to construction, and this isn't construction. So it looks like we did comply, but he was going to, get a little more info to make sure he's comfortable with it, and so anyway, we'll see what happens.
Wasn't it last month we were going to send it back to council for the second time.
We did.
They tabled it
Yes.
again.
Because the one thing, the question I got on that is why didn't we list it twice? We did the first time in the paper twice and on the Facebook or on the website. But then, you know, just because of the time and all, because I read the manual and it says at least one time, not less than 10 days before the bid opening. And so that's exactly what I did.
Okay.
But then the question came up about, well, the statute says that you have to list it twice. Well, you do, we discovered, I think, that if you do, it's just if it's a construction project. But this is not.
So it's just, we think it's just gonna go back to
Yeah,
council.
he's thinking we're just gonna send it back like it was.
So we don't have to make another motion?
No, we don't have to do anything. I'm
Okay.
just kind of reporting on the status of it.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, so.
Will Zach give some education to them before they hear that?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, he's been talking to the attorney and
'Cause I hate-
other
I hate
counsel.
for it to get tabled again.
Right, yeah, because it's about a 14-week turnaround, you know, once we place the order for the unit to get there, so. So we're running on, that particular unit has 4 compressors and only 2 are working. Of course, we're getting closer to the heating season versus the cooling, so. So anyway, we'll see how that plays out, so. Finances, I do have this sheet. Well, it's a revenue and then kind of the unofficial, you know, as I have it labeled. I got a year in the other day, June 30, but it didn't look right because there was, on the Cherokee Nation monies, there was a debit on the revenue side and then a debit on the expense side. So we're getting hit twice. You know, there was no revenue showing per se. So anyway, and they Hannah noticed that too and took it back to Coker, and so they talked, and so they're making that correction. And so because that showed us $59,000 in the red for the year, but that it's $90,000 that's showing and as a debit on the revenue side. So if that gets flipped, you know, we'll be pretty good. Plus, we still are owed June's Cherokee Nation money, and then August and September. And I met with them last week, and so they're cutting a check. It's about 20 grand, a little over 20,000, 20,660, and so that will help, obviously help our bottom line. You know, and looking at this, you know, we're not off to a great start. I looked at last year, you know, too. We got off to a little bit of a slow start. I've got you know, and I was looking through the expenses, which are on the small page. You know, this has the breakdown on the small page. You know, our revenues are fairly consistent over last year to this year. You know, in the early months, you know, we're 90. Last year in July, we were 92,000. This year, we were 92. In August last year, 156. But I think that was because we got a big chunk of Cherokee Nation money, so that skewed that a little bit. And then we were 91,000 this past August, and then the expenses, though, exceeded that, as you can see, by about 10 grand for the month, and then we're 23 short over the first couple of months this year. So, and I don't have the exact interest. That's one thing that's not in there. And then we get the Cherokee Nation money. So, so anyway, we're still a little bit short. So I've been combing the expenses, and a couple of things on that. Not really out of the ordinary, but we did have in August, we had $4,800 repair and maintenance bill, and you know, $1,500 of that was push pedal pull. Just trying to think here, Kate, you sent it to me. Let's see here. Yeah, we had actually $3,000 of that was push pedal pull, because we've had some equipment go down. We had some parts, and then part of that's our maintenance agreement with them, their quarterly maintenance agreement. So that's 3,000 of that 4,800. The rest of it's just smaller stuff. We bought 3 filters, water filters for the water machine. Those things are $80 a piece. You know, we found a place to get them now. Last year we bought bought two and they were $150 a piece. So we figured that out finally. I don't know, those are kind of the highlights, I guess. There's a lot of nickel and dime stuff. $19, $63. But then, so, you know, and I've noticed, I mentioned last time that I may try to do we might try to take a look at leasing some equipment and all, and I haven't got that done yet, but I will, because that's still on my radar. So we'll see if I can get that done, see if that'll help us, because some of our equipment's getting up there. You know, our lifeguard salaries were kind of high. That should start to taper off a little bit. Child watch, now I got to talk to Katie a little bit. That's a pretty significant amount for child watch. I guess that's good because we got young people bringing their kids, but sometimes we staff that with one person, sometimes we staff it with two, because you just don't know, because you get a bunch of babies, you know, that you have to have hands on. A lot of it, you got to have a couple people if you have as many as 8 or 10. Oh, the other thing, our capital outlay for equipment was $4,100. That was our controlled access to that side door, all of it. That $4,100 was the whole thing. So that's kind of a out of the ordinary thing, I guess. Not a month to month on capital.
How is our sales tax exactly the same?
Well, that's a placeholder. That's not the real thing. I did talk to some of our people about that and Coker. So I think it was wrong. The year before it was wrong. This past year we overpaid. It was wrong. So Jay told me, because she does, Jay Standing Water, it works. So she said that we should be getting a credit. So the first couple months we shouldn't have anything, but I don't know what that is yet, or I don't know because I don't have any. I don't have any financials. So, but anyway, that's what she told me, that we should be seeing a credit. So, those are kind of the highlights. I don't know if anybody has anything else. I'm trying to think here. Yeah, I just like to come to the meeting once and have everything I need. You know?
Like a financial
Yeah,
from
exactly.
June?
Yeah, instead of having to speculate. But so I just hate to say things that I guess, because I just get myself in trouble.
Mr. Moore, could you spec that up for me just a little bit? As I'm looking
I'll
through
try.
these, I see some variation in our guest pass sales. Does that have to do you attribute that to our front desk person if they're staying on top of that, or I'm seeing that kind of cycles through a little bit?
Yeah, so like, we're down like from last July, let's see. Yeah,
And what are you looking at?
last July,
I'm looking at revenue generated off our guest pass
Yeah.
sales throughout the year.
yeah, we had 7,200 in July.
I'm looking at anywhere from about a $3,000 variance in the January to February, and then through the end of this month. And I'm curious if that is something that if we have a staff on top of that.
Well, we've double manned the evening shift. You know, there's two people up there, Christina, that teaches some classes. She's really good at that, and so I think what I was going to say, interestingly enough, in July last year, I know last year we had a spike in membership in July, and so I don't know if we had a spike this year necessarily. I guess I haven't. I guess we can look here in a second because I got the membership thing here. Well, yeah, from a year earlier, because it's the same system, you know. But mainly, you know, probably I would say, just guessing, that the Cherokee Nation program is what's where it spiked as far as total membership. But yeah, we've tried to improve on that.
Absolutely.
Especially in those evening hours from like 4 to 7 kind of a thing. So the one thing that would you know, really tighten that up would be is if we did what we were trying to do a couple years ago, not long after I was here, we were talking about moving the desk and putting in the turnstile and all that kind of thing. So you cannot pass. You have to go through a turnstile. And so we were looking at a little bit of that. I think we might be able to do something with the configuration that we have now, you know, with the railings and stuff like that. We might be able to do something, but that would be one way to take another step in assuring, you know, that everybody's paying. But I know Christina will track you down.
Yeah.
I mean, she does a nice job, yeah.
And you could even bring them through the narrow side of that where it comes down past the front of the weight room towards the basketball court. You can bring them all the way down the length of the front desk area. If you wanted to set up your railing like that.
Oh, yeah, right, yeah. So that would probably be the next step for us before we, you know, decided to move the desk and everything, because we had a configuration moving the desk on the east wall and putting up 2 turnstiles and then a gate and then an exit gate. You know, we needed a bigger gate to get stuff in and out, you know, but then had 2 turnstiles, one that your key fob controlled and the other one that the front desk person could hit the button and let you in if need be for doing business, you know. So.
And I'd ask that same question with memberships. Is that up and down? Is just where we're missing revenue on people having that dead time that they're not paying their dues? Is that kind of what we?
Well, we're at 6. Well, we were 16 the last 2 months, and last year it was 19. Yeah, it's hard to know for sure, but I feel like that we're doing a better job, you know, of catching people. Yeah,
Okay.
you know, I don't know if we had you know, I'd have to probably go back again and look at the membership and see if there's. One thing that happens a little bit is that with the Renew Active, and Silver Sneaker stuff, that stuff, we have to make sure everybody that has that program, you know, does the card swiping and that kind of thing. So we get our credit on that. And sometimes I think that gets missed a little bit if there's some updates that need to be done and they don't get it updated. The members, I mean, don't get their cards updated in the system sometime. But it's, I don't know, I'd say it's a combination of things.
Well, but if you look at the official's not changed that much. I mean, it did from August.
Yeah, for this year, right.
Well, from 24.
Oh, 24.
I mean, we have unofficial numbers for 25 still. We don't
Yeah,
know what
we
those
don't.
are.
Yeah,
So that's numbers coming out of your system, I think.
yeah. So they'll change a little bit, but not in some of the categories. You know, the interest is really because most of the other numbers come right off the GL, and Kim pulls that.
Okay.
You know, but the interest comes through here, you know, and then that gets allocated. Public school rent, I don't think we don't have really anything outstanding right now. We'll start getting that in around the middle of the year, the middle of the school year, around the first of the calendar year. So pool parties is, you know, fairly strong. On my report down here, well, that's one thing. Last month we had 15, which is kind of normal, but the one thing is we had 8 public and 7 private, and the private ones are $300 a piece. Mm-hmm. So, I think what else here.
The ones that involve 6 and under should be 500 as many times as you have to shut that thing down for the bathroom.
Right, exactly, exactly. Well, we do, you know, with our infant swim program, we do have a penalty, you know, protocol. So first time, second time, third time, you're out.
4th time you got to swim in it for an hour.
So I'm hoping by next time I'll have some financials for us. That should give us, so it'll be October, so we should have July and August, and then we'll have the year end. So next time there'll be a lot more, hopefully, official reporting on that. So anything else on that? Oh, okay, and I just mentioned aquatics. The pool parties are in pretty good shape there. You know, we had the Olympic swimmer came in last weekend and did some instruction for a couple of days. You know, we're into the school year family swim, which is on the weekends. So that's that cuts down on guard costs. So those are really just the main things that are going on there. Fitness, Jess added a couple of classes. Attendance is slightly down, about a half a person on average in the land and the pool classes. So she's constant in there looking trying to find classes, something new, change it up to keep it going. That morning class in the pool, I think the average is about 20. So it's solid.
We were packed on Monday. We had 29 people on Monday at the 9 o'clock
Right,
class.
in the chair,
I mean,
that's
there was
the
barely
chair,
enough chairs. Yeah.
chair class, right,
Yeah.
yeah, that's right.
Chair.
Yeah.
It's the 9 o'clock, yeah, and it was 29 people.
So those two classes, are carrying the load. That's really about it. I'm still, I sat down twice. I think Dave, you're the one that brought it about the vending machine stuff. I sat down twice and I pull it up and then I get interrupted, but I'm still gonna check into that. We did buy a little, Jesse's kind of the guru on the energy drink, so he bought a few different ones. I called Homeland the other day and talked to the manager about seeing if we could do a deal with them, and he said he would give us the deal he gets, so he'd let his buyer know, and then he would call me when a deal came up. And so anyway, I haven't heard from him yet, but he seemed more than willing to help us out if he can, so we'll see how that goes. We got everybody CPR certified. I don't know if I did that. Can't remember now. That was early August, so maybe I mentioned that last month. So, had Dam Jam last weekend, and I think that went pretty well. We're not too involved in that, but they use our building for restroom and shelter sometimes. So, that's pretty much it.
Okay.
So, those are the highlights.
Okay.
Any unforeseeable business? Anybody have anything? Okay, I guess we are adjourned at 6:03.
All right. Well, thank you all.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, Marty.
Thank you, ladies. Happy birthday tomorrow.
Calling her daughter, man. Someone calling her daughter.
I didn't realize everything was so complicated about the place.
There's a lot of moving parts.
Anytime you get the government involved, it's more complicated.
Yeah, right.
We're fortunate to have a rec. It's nice. It's nice.